Hi, everybody. It's the CC and JT Amateur Hour. That's CC.
And that's JT.
Where production values go to die. We're not in it today because we haven't drinking enough coffee, have we?
No. Need all the coffee
Coffee
this
we
morning.
can get. Yeah. It was a really big week for the podcast, or I should say, not the podcast, for the company. And if you're wondering what the company name is, it's Two More
Books.
Two more books. Two more books. So if when you start doing your internet browsing and you go to sites like Kobo and Apple and those things out there, you'll see that the books are published under the company of Two More Books because we're just adorable that way. Okay.
There was our thumbnail.
Okay, we're having fun now. And hello to our favorite IRS agent, too, who's wondering what's going on.
Well, we don't have any money yet, so.
Yeah, we're still in that spending $500 to earn $5 phase of our, but we're.
No. I actually think we're in the spend $500 to earn 5 cents.
Oh, yeah, that's probably true. So what is going on? Wow.
A lot.
So we published all of our catalog to Amazon. We published all of our catalog to Google Play. We published all of our catalog to Kobo. And what we're now in is in the phases. Google Play gives us the options to give us auto-narrated books.
Mm-hmm.
And so we put a couple books up there. And right now we're doing From Tundra to Tiara, which
Yes. I didn't bring it, but.
Yeah.
Do you want me to grab it?
No, that's okay. That's okay. People have seen it enough. They're probably going, oh, God,
not
that again.
You can put a picture up.
Yeah. So
here's my hand. Pretend
right
the picture's right here. Here's the book cover.
We're pretending. Isn't the 21st century wonderful? Okay, so we're in the process of going through the From Tundra to Tiara, applying the auto-narration to that, and so that'll be up there hopefully sometime soon. And
but you should talk in more detail. So you've put 1 or 2 books up already.
Yes.
With just a single narrator
right.
telling you a story. With From Tundra to Tiara, JT is going through chapter by chapter and assigning some of the characters, at least, unique voices. Right. So Lexi will have a voice, Travis will have a voice.
And I don't know
some other characters as well.
The application,
plus the narrator.
Yeah, the application is interesting. And if you're thinking of doing the Google Play auto narration, well, first of all, you got to be warned that you're going to get what you pay for. You can assign voices to specific characters, but there's not a lot of the catalog available of voices is not voluminous. It's not big at all. It's actually fairly small. There's there's the British, American, Australian, and Indians, as in Asian Indians.
Yes.
And then of those, there's only 5 or 6 voices, and you'd be surprised. And if there are 5 or 6 voices, there's just split down the middle, male, female. So when you have if you want to have a very, say for instance, American-centric novel, then you're going to have 3 choices of females and 3 choices of males to choose from.
And those choices are based on age range.
Mm-hmm.
Each age range seems to have a different, some of them are deeper or higher, and then I guess that would be their pitch. Plus there is slower versus faster, but you can also adjust the speed of the speaker.
Yeah, so we have the narrator kicked up. By the way, the rule is you have to say narrator. And if folks know what I'm talking about, if they've seen George of the Jungle, the narrator is the one we picked is got the deep voice, and we've got them kicked up to 1.25 of their speaking speed. But again, if you are interested in playing with the Google Play, just remember that you're getting what you pay for. You're getting what you pay for, which is nothing except for the time that you expend. And as Cece said, we put 2 books up. We just plopped them up there just to say that we could have them. But we're working through Tundra to Tiara, and I'm trying to think if there's any other features that you should be aware of. I can't think of it immediately. I'll try to find a YouTube or something like that to link in the blog post so you can see what you're dealing with, because we haven't quite figured out how to do that yet for ourselves.
Yes, it's actually a pretty labor-intensive process. You have to go through and once you select the voice, you have to assign it to the particular dialogue, and you go through the entire manuscript all over again.
Yeah, and that's actually the point that I was trying to remember to make, is you have to be published first as a regular book. And then what Google Play does is then it imports the text from the regular book into the auto-narration application. But the upside of that is, and of course, that what we read versus what we hear are two different things. So you can modify what the listener hears so it makes more sense to them in a listening thing, and it doesn't affect what's in the book. It doesn't affect the book. So what you do is you end up having two different works, and I've done that a little bit, and I'm thinking of going back and doing a little bit more because, for example, when you're having dialogue between two characters, it's not logical to have breaks when you have assigned voices, and it doesn't make sense for them to go he said or she said because it's the
dialogue tags.
The dialogue is already taken there, so it's a bit of work, but when you're done, you'll have two different works. And I think I also saw in the agreement that the auto narration is the property of Google Play. Now, I may be wrong there, and I'm not a lawyer, and terms of service are not my strength, but I wouldn't be surprised if Google Play says, this is ours. We provided the app. It's ours. So you have the choice of doing it, but you do not have the choice, I believe, of downloading. I'll do some more research on that, and if I'm wrong, I'll correct myself in the future.
So that sounds reasonable because their intellectual property rights are very tricky, and that's a huge business for lawyers, for corporate law. So it is something that we're definitely not experts. We do not give legal advice. So do not take anything we say as gospel or legal advice. We're just talking about what we've seen so far. And that's kind of our legal caveat to this, because we are not lawyers. We're not trained in that area whatsoever. We haven't done this long enough to even have an idea of what we're doing with it.
Yeah, but but it is kind of fun. It's fun to hear our words being played back. And we made we made Lexi in the book. What did you decide on her? Australian or?
No, we gave her British.
We made her British.
Because we're not going to give away the reason why, because that's part of the story. But it seemed more logical for her to be British, or have the British accent at least.
And if I had the choice with Travis, I'd make him, a deeper voice. But again, there was a lot of flexibility.
We're going with the deep voice for the narrator because that person sounds like a narrator. Like you mentioned, George of the Jungle is like the narrator.
Yeah.
It's that deep, authoritative kind of voice, so it made more sense to use it for the narrator.
And then there's the question, of course, do you want to have a narrator or do you want to have a storyteller and pick the voice that way? So it's we're not final. We haven't made final decisions on this. We can go back and change. We can go back and change the type of voices without having to redo the work within the book. We can
reassign them.
We can reassign the voices because it'll all be highlighted and everything. I hope. God, I hope that's true. Because if we change our mind, I do not want to go back, and we do not want to go back and redo
26
that.
chapters.
Oh my God!
More than 300
it's 26
pages?
chapters and. To go through, and we've already read that book, 50 times. Nobody reads your books more than your writers. So that's just normal. So having to go through these.
So if you happen to come across this podcast and you're not an author, but you're interested in the nuances of the writing process and being an author, this is stuff that most people don't talk about. And in a perfect world, if we actually were earning more income, we would probably hire narrators or actors, voice actors, basically, to represent the characters that we want. But at this point, we're testing the waters to see if audiobooks are going to be a way to go. Once we do start earning a little more income, we will probably go out and hire voice actors to do it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And the reason that we kind of jumped on this is because we have a family member who responds more to audiobooks than
Yes.
responds to the written word. So this big lift that, you know, it sounds like we're grumpy, but we're writers. Writers are always grumpy. This big lift that we're doing is actually for her. So she once we get it done, we'll be able to say, hey, here you go. Here's our latest book. You'll be able to hear it. So so there's reasons for us doing what we are doing.
Basically, it's an accessibility issue, because if somebody can't visually read a book for various reasons, they might have vision problems, they might have some kind of a cognitive issue, but they still want to enjoy books, then this is what we're doing it for, to make it a little bit more accessible for people like
Absolutely.
our family member.
Like our family member. So there'll be reasons.
Yes.
Reasons. Okay. Anything else with the audiobook?
No, I think we're going to have to play around with that more and probably report back to see how it works, because JT hasn't finished his pass through this. We don't know if or when it will go up, because if it becomes a problem, I'm sure we may just go back and put it aside for now.
Yeah, I still want to get through this. I still want to get through this because it's for an important cause. It's for an important reason. So it's not something I really want to set aside. So, woo!
Yes.
Onward and upwards.
So basically, we're not doing it for financial gain. No, that would be nice, but we are trying to make it more accessible for more people.
Yep. And considering we've got more than 10 books to do, all 10 books like this is...
That's going to take a lot of time.
Yeah, we may just pick one, just, you know, narrator, storyteller kind of person, and, you know, just leave it like that without going through. But, you know, that's one thing at a time, one book at a time.
Right.
Actually, right now, we're at one paragraph at a time.
Well, JT's doing all the heavy lifting on this, so...
Yep.
Spent way too much time in front of the screen yesterday trying to get... How many chapters did you get through?
I think I only got through like 6 or 7 chapters, and you know that doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're going through line by line and assigning the dialogue to each, you know, assigning the actors or whatever you want to say, the voices in our head, the voices into each of them, and it's only 2. It's just
it's 3 with the narrator, but that
the narrator, the narrator is the default. So if you don't assign a voice, the narrator is the
one
the
that reads.
speaking. Okay. What else did we want to chat about? Really don't, you know, we've you know, I guess I want to circle back around the fact that, you know, our catalog is gone out on, you know, all sorts of platforms. It was always out on Amazon,
right?
Which is the monster in the room. Everybody knows Amazon's ebooks because they're the most well established, and we have them all out on Google now, which I think might be termed up and coming, or at least a reasonable competitor. And they're all up on Kobo, which has a vast international presence, and that's kind of fun, actually. That's fun, because Cece, you were doing some Googling earlier.
Yes, and I came across an Australian book site. I'm not sure if it was a bookstore or just a book site. They're, you know, because they may not have a physical presence, they may just sell online. Plus, there was also a Japanese version, so you can see the little... It was .au for Australia and .jp for Japan, and obviously in Japanese it was in kanji or katakana or something. Japan has a variety of different written languages, and I'm not clear on which is which, but it was definitely recognizable, at least by the
cover.
So it was cool that
pretty cool.
to see it out there internationally, to spread our wings a little bit, see if, you know, maybe people in other countries may be more receptive to reading some of this.
Yes, right.
I'm guessing maybe the Maggie books, people are fascinated by the Western U.S., so the Maggie books at least may take off internationally. Who knows? I mean, we're testing the waters. We want to see if maybe expanding beyond Amazon gives us an audience of people who really... There is just an overwhelming amount of books available through Amazon, and trying to get yourself into the algorithm to be noticed is difficult. But, you know, if the word gets out there, who knows, they could also pick up on Amazon and rise in the ranks.
You know, let's not forget there are those that just will not do anything with Amazon. There are folks out there that will just not. So if you are one of those folks, first of all, we completely understand, because you know, Amazon is everywhere. Just Amazon is listening. You know, if you
literally,
and Amazon hears all. So if you are really that way, and if you're really, you know, anti-Amazon, anti-Google, then, you know, their Kobo is out there, and that's all they do is books. They do books and audiobooks.
Right.
So what the heck, you know, give it a shot.
And we're just trying to expand our reach. We're working on, what are we calling it? Our empire?
Yes, our empire.
To expand our evil empire.
Yeah. But the hardest lift for all of this, and it sounds like we've done a lot, and I think that, it's fair to say that we have. I mean, it's we've got books out on Amazon, Google, Apple, Kobo, and Barnes and Noble.
Yes.
We've got books all out there, and we've gone through each of the set of hoops that we have to jump through to get our catalogs out there. But that's not the hardest lift. After we do that, even working with us, doing these audiobooks is not the hard lift. The hard lift is the prior stuff, which is why this podcast got created, and that's creating a book, writing a book. And that's really, really, that's hard. It's hard. And I'm working on a book. Cece is taking a break from the book writing thing because for the moment, not only to help with the empire, because she's the CEO. I'm the CFO, CIO, CMO, and the CSO. So she has the vision. I enact the vision.
And I also still have the day job. And
she has a day job too. But still, CEO, she has all these visions and voices in her. And I'm responsible for
implementing
them. So Chief Financial Officer, Chief Information Officer, Chief Marketing Officer, and Chief Strategic Officer. So it's like,
a slug's work is never done.
Oh, God. Man, down with the man.
The retiree here, who was totally bored and didn't know what to do with himself in retirement, has suddenly found a major purpose and is busy probably more than you were with your day job at this point. How many spreadsheets do you have going now?
Oh, yeah, that's okay. We don't talk about spreadsheets.
Actually, the list of the various markets for the various books, for the various versions.
Yes.
Because we have the ebook, we have the paperbacks, and now we have the audiobooks. So JT has got so many spreadsheets. I'm guessing you're doing it in Google Docs now. Right?
Yeah, but I'm not really doing, it's not the spreadsheets, it's actually the content of one. It's one very important spreadsheet being supported by others. And you're right. So it's like in one column I've got the books. In the second column I've got the platform, and then in the third column I've got the medium, which is the hard paperback, and which is the audio. So when you're talking about 13, 14 books in our catalog, and then you're talking about 5 platforms, and then when you're talking about 2 mediums, the spreadsheet gets pretty long, and then everything to the right of it, which is...
We're up to 3 mediums, though, because we're working on audio, right?
So audio,
we have ebook, paperback, and audio.
You're right. Wow.
Yeah.
So
it's getting pretty intensive in a tracking perspective.
Yeah, so I had to create the spreadsheet just to keep everything straight, to keep all the prices straight, keep all the important dates correct, because they all have release dates, because we're trying to balance things. But it'll be safe to say by February 1st, I think our entire catalog will be out on all 5 platforms.
Right.
And something that's boring stuff, but it's absolutely essential when you have multiple books and multiple platforms. You need to get organized. You need to get your brain in the game of spreadsheets, and you need to set up inside your writing pair. You need to set up a bureaucracy, because we need to have roles. Now, CC's role is not just CEO. But she does have the day job.
Yes.
So I have a little more flexibility than her. But we only mention this because some folks may be in similar situations. Some folks that watch this may be in similar situations. And so we want to say what we've set up to get us going here. And again, 2 more books. We're out there, we're working it, we're busy, and we're recording every financial transaction. Yes, I do have another spreadsheet.
And what we haven't talked about? What? The elephant in the room.
What?
Marketing.
Yeah.
Social media and marketing also takes up an incredible amount of time and bandwidth. So the actual sitting down to write the books, to create the products, to put out on the platforms, to market, 2 people. Yeah. This is like, we're joking about this being like our evil empire, but in a sense, it is like a small little empire. We are doing the work of a traditional publishing company. Just between the 2 of us. We're figuring out as we go along. And hopefully, if you're watching this, you're getting some ideas if you're thinking about going along the same path. because we just kind of jumped in and we're trying to. No, personally, I think it's fun. It's exciting.
Yeah.
This is something we both probably dreamt about for years, and we're in a place societally where we have the tools that we don't have to go out and put a lot of money up front. We have a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to put into it. We do put out some money, obviously, but this would not have been, when I first started writing, what I considered professionally in the 1980s, I was still using a typewriter, typing up a manuscript, putting it in multiple envelopes, submitting it out to publishers, because I had no idea of how I probably could have published it myself, but it would have been much more difficult. So we are in a place right now where it is actually it is a great environment for creators to get their work out there, whether you're a writer or a photographer or a painter or a sculptor, doing fabric crafting, whatever. This is really a good time to try this out, because you do need to put out some money, because obviously you're going to need supplies to make your products and things like that. But there are so many more options for getting it out into the world that it's, why not? We're working very carefully to make sure we don't overextend ourselves financially or time-wise or anything. But, the return, if not financial, is that we are feeling kind of fulfillment.
Yeah.
It's a fulfilling, because we're heading into that time of life where once you retire from your career, a lot of people kind of fade away because they don't know what to do with themselves. But theoretically, we could just keep doing this and doing this and doing this once we get it set up. So we know what we're doing and we have hopefully a following. Then all that legwork that we're putting in right now, it should be a little bit easier moving forward.
Yeah, and we had no idea that it was this complex when we started indie publishing, X number of years ago. We threw a couple books up on Amazon, and we sort of went, "Ooh, look at us, we're so cool, look at us, good job.
I know, you're so good.
Aren't we so good?" And then we really had no idea how easily complex, or how quickly it would get complex. And then, but once, as CC said, once we make this investment in time to get for lack of a better phrase, to get the bureaucracy and the core and the platforms all organized and everything, we can get back to the writing thing, which we should be doing very soon.
Yes.
But it does require, for us to get our word out there, it does take time to establish that foundation. And we thought we had that foundation all these years. Yeah, we really hadn't scratched the surface, but now we're there.
Well,
we're very
getting
close.
Yes.
As I said, probably by February, we'll have, all 5 platforms, fully involved. And, we may not be making any money, but we will be in a better situation for creativity. And then when we do start that beast called marketing, then we'll be able to point to things and say, hey.
And to tease a project that we've kind of talked about, I don't know whether or not we will actually do it, but we may write a nonfiction book based on our experiences, how to set yourself up as a professional author, as a retiree, basically, as a retirement career. So that is something we were toying with the idea.
Gotcha.
Obviously, we're going to have the time to sit down and do it. But right now, we need to kind of go through the process so we know what we're talking about. And then we may share our experiences, for good or bad. However this works out, we don't know. It could be we have lessons learned. It's like, well, this is what we did, but please don't do that, because it won't help you a bit.
That's sort of the point of this podcast when we first started it too. We've said it more than once that we've published quite a few things and really haven't had a terrible amount of success, but we've learned a lot and we continue to learn. And I still think that we're not. If we were to look at this from a K-12 situation, I still don't know if we made it to middle school yet. I still feel we're still at the the
third
beginning.
or fourth grade.
Yeah, we're still in elementary school at the stage of learning all this stuff. Maybe someday we'll get there, but there's a lot to learn. So if you have any ideas, if you have any of your own experiences that you want to contribute, please feel free to reach out to us at our website, which has to be redesigned. It has to be redesigned sometime.
A retiree's work is never done.
Yeah, CIO part. Chief Information Officer, www.carsonhume.com. And I need to redesign the book page at the very least, because the thing is just a monster now, and I have ideas how to do that, but I really have to redesign the whole thing, and there's not enough coffee in the world to even think about that right now.
And when I mention that, if we do write something based on our experiences where it will be geared toward retirees, is that there are a lot of people talking about how to do this. Many of them are younger. They are people who are just starting out in their careers. There are people who've had a career out in the corporate world and they've decided to go off on writing, but they're like in their 30s, they're dealing with family and, they have a lot of other things going on. Whereas I don't see a lot of that marketing toward, geared toward people of our age. So hopefully we can maybe help people who are a little intimidated. They're not quite as technologically savvy as some of the younger generations, because we are more early adopters than we are digital natives, and that's a whole different subject area. But it's I feel like we do have some valuable insights to share just based on our age and trying to deal with, kind of, I don't know, we're treading water in this raging river that's going on around us, and a lot of it is being done by younger people. So, but there are a lot of us older people who maybe haven't considered doing this. Maybe you want to write a memoir. You don't want to have a full book list, but you want to write a memoir and share it with people, share your life experience. So, you can kind of dabble with that and not have to go as deeply into this as we are. But we hope we encourage people in our age range, at least, to maybe take the attempt, because we do have a lot of wisdom and history to share with people. And, if you are a retiree and you're not quite sure to do what to do with some of your time, sit down and write, a few notes about what happened to you growing up, growing older, your life, your career, the different events in history that you've been involved with or you've watched happen. And, that can be equally valid to what we're doing, which is more like we're looking more at the entertainment side of things.
Yeah. So with these, if you are a follower along of our podcast broadcast, and we thank you for that, you'll notice that these last few podcasts have been mostly about the technical side, and we probably should try and get back more to the creativity side, because we do have ideas about that, and also we actually remember how to do that. You wouldn't know it from our latest series of podcasts, but we actually know how to do that. And also something significant is coming up, is our 150th podcast is coming up. So that's 100. I need to look here real quick. But our 150th podcast is coming up, is sneaking up here. If I can get my website up, it's right there. So we're going to be doing a retrospective, obviously. Whoops. Obviously I can't type and talk at the same time.
Well, and we're also coming up on a new year, and that is a time when a lot of people reevaluate. You plan for the next coming year, and this is a time of year where people do get very introspective. We do kind of want to look back at our accomplishments. So it's going to be close. They're going to be close. Yeah. Almost.
They're not going to coincide, but this is podcast 145. This is podcast 145. Yep. And so we're looking forward to, in 5 more weeks, we'll be looking forward to podcast 150.
Woohoo!
Woo! So, but in the meantime, we'll try to entertain you. We'll try to bring some insights on the creation side of the house and the business side of the house, and we'll continue to do this, if only to drink coffee.
More coffee.
Drink coffee, because that's why we're really here. That's our excuse to drink
coffee.
Well,
and the other thing that I'm going to be toying with is book cover design, because I like to design some things in publishers, so I'm going to try some of my upcoming book covers myself, and I may talk a little bit about that process here if anybody is interested in doing that. So we have a lot of different things that we can be discussing moving forward that aren't just like we went through a series of, didn't do much this week. We wrote a few words here and there. Nothing's going on. Now we kind of have jumped in with both feet, and there is a lot going on. So,
and we're getting close to signing off here. And I also just want to point out that very quickly here, is this podcast is featured, of course, on Spotify. But I was reminded the other day that Spotify does a distribution to other platforms, including our friends at Apple. So I need to get in the habit of pointing out where these podcasts are available there too. So woo! So we're all over the internet. You're gonna have to work hard to avoid us. Please don't. Please.
Well, if you can't remember our website, just put in JT Hume, and a lot of our links come up because you're starting to get picked up by the Google search.
Yeah,
And the first few will be links to some of our things. So if you can't remember our website off the top of your head, at least remember JT Hume, because a lot of stuff will start coming up.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up because we've got a busy thing to do, and also we've got a big game today, so go Niners! Actually, yeah, I'm rooting for the Raiders but it's complex. But we still, Niners!
Honestly, I guess you're probably much more of a football fan than I am, because my only football game as a UNR grad, obviously, my one game of the year is the UNR versus UNLV, Reno versus Las Vegas, and which team gets the cannon. That's something we can talk about in the future, maybe next year during the game, because UNR.
Yeah, if you want some real quick trivia there, Google up Fremont Cannon and enjoy what you read. It's the largest trophy in college rivalry, in college football rivalry in the United States.
Yes,
so it's
fun actually fascinating. So check it out, but I am a Nevada fan, as a Nevada alum. We call it Nevada because UNR started, or Nevada started
it's the University of Nevada,
yes,
and then the UNLV.
Yeah. Anyway, that's a whole different tangent.
Yeah, don't push this button. Let's not push this button.
The Niners are playing today.
Niners. Okay, so check out this broadcast. We are all over the place. This is going to get posted to YouTube. This is going to get posted to Spotify. It's going to get posted to Apple, among other places, and of course at our website at www.carsonhume.com. Remember that this is the home of where production values go to die. The CC and JT Amata Hour, and over there, CC.
And that's JT.
And we hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful week, and we look forward to talking and hearing from you sometime soon. Y'all take care now. You hear?
Bye-bye.